Well, child abuse and neglect in Tulare County is a problem like it is in any of our counties in California and actually throughout the United States. Unfortunately, in Tulare County, it's a larger problem than I think people are aware of. We just participated in the 19th annual March on Main. That's the 19th time that CASA has sponsored an event that kicks off Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. Wonderful event where we all get together, we march on Main Street, we talk about being the voice of a child. It should not hurt to be a child, and CASA leads that every year.
It is not an ethnic issue, it is not a geographical issue, it is a human issue. And it's one that we all need to say it's time for us to get serious about stopping the abuse that happens to our most vulnerable children.
Child abuse in Tulare County is a serious problem that we address every day in our court system.
In 2013 in Tulare County, 8,119 reports of child abuse were received by Child Welfare Services, resulting in 966 substantiated cases of abuse or neglect. In these cases, the children are removed from their homes and wind up in the Tulare County Juvenile Court and in foster care.
You have a child who's being removed from their home that they've known, whether it's a good home or not, that's the only home they've known. You have a child who is intimidated by the court system. You have to have an attorney that represents the child's interests. You have attorneys that are representing the parents' interests. You have an attorney representing the county's interests. And it's a very scary situation for a child.
And this is where CASA of Tulare County comes into play. Court-appointed special advocates are volunteer officers of the court who are assigned to cases of child abuse and neglect.
Some of why CASA began was because the judges wanted to know more about what was going on. They're making life-changing decisions for these children.
Because when we have a child who's in foster care, we have regular reviews, and CASA will submit a report if they are an advocate for that child. And in that report, I can find out exactly what's really happening as far as the child's perspective.
CASA is there for the child. CASA has a unique role in that they are the voice of the child in court.
One of my first cases was a sibling group, but specifically the young man, he began to recognize that I actually heard him when he shared his problems and his frustrations with either school or the system or just life. I was actually listening to what he was saying, and I was trying to be his voice, so that when sometimes adults tend to not listen to children, I tried to be his spokesperson and speak for him and say, hey, these are valid reasons. You know, we need to see if we can't help him out.
They also help our social workers to understand, from the child's perspective, is this in their best interest? We always want to do what's in the best interest of the child. That's what we're required by law to do. CASA helps to fill in some of the gaps of information.
Well, I think meeting with them each week really helps them to see that we care about them, kind of show them that they're important to somebody, and then we're consistent. A lot of times when kids are involved in the system, they have to change social workers. Sometimes they might even be required to change a school. So a lot of people, a lot of the adults in their lives are changing, new foster homes, and we're somebody who stays consistent. Wherever they go when they're in the system, we go with them, and so they know that they've got somebody in their corner.
Last year, 174 CASA volunteers provided life-changing advocacy for 430 children who were deemed by the court to need urgent care.
There's a case plan designed specifically for that child, and that could be anything from therapy to visits with their family or siblings. So, of course, that's something that we're making certain is happening, because those are all things that are going to help get the child where they need to go. Either it's helping them become more healthy in what's happened with them, or making certain that they're getting their medical care that they need.
Whenever CASA is assigned the educational rights by the juvenile court for a child that's in care, CASA works tirelessly to make sure that that child does not lose, number one, the credits they're entitled to, that they don't get moved from school to school, that if they need tutoring or specialized services or behavioral services in the school, they are advocating. They are at that table. They are every IEP meeting. They are ensuring that those kids get the educational success, the educational opportunities that they're entitled to.
A child with a CASA volunteer is more likely to find a safe, permanent home, more likely to be adopted, and substantially less likely to spend time in long-term foster care. Children with CASA volunteers do better in school. They're more likely to pass all courses, less likely to have poor conduct, and more likely to graduate.
There is not a week that goes by that I do not talk to someone here at CASA. I do not sit across a table at either a community collaborative or a work group where CASA and Child Welfare Services or CASA and the Health and Human Services Agency are working collaboratively with First Five, with Family Services Tulare, kind of with multiple partners, with the juvenile court, with the Office of Education, to say, what is it about our system that we can look to collective effort and making things better? And so I really appreciate that CASA and Child Welfare can sit down at the table. We come from different areas, different perspectives, but we can absolutely look at what's in the best interest of the child, and that's what I love about CASA.
If people are considering getting involved in CASA, either financially or donating time, you need to realize that it's very much appreciated and it pays back in tenfold in results, not to mention just the basic life quality that is obtained by the children that are being helped and the community that contains those children.
So how can you help? Become an advocate. We currently serve only the most urgent cases, but there are too many children and not enough volunteers. Last year, 255 abused or neglected children in our court system did not have an advocate because we lacked the necessary volunteers. Make a donation. CASA cannot bill for its services. Funding comes from generous donations from individuals and organizations, and also from grants and fundraising events. Speak up about child abuse. Invite CASA to present our cause to your organization. Above all, get involved. Child abuse is a community problem with a community solution.